Hey friends, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I thought I would bring you along while I transform this week into this week here in my Hobonichi Cousin. You get a quick glimpse here of the previous week in my planner, and it's going to look fairly similar. I have decided on a framework that I'm continuing to build week after week. You're going to see up here I am taking my Tombow marker in 89 and using it to mark off a section up there at the top for my workouts. Next up, I'm marking off a section for my meals, and then the last one just kind of delineates the end of the day and creates a space for some notes below. I have reserved this spot over in my sidebar for a step tracker. I have just been curious about this. I'm not necessarily trying to reach a certain number each day, but I am trying to just keep track of like what I'm doing, where I'm at, and sometimes it's motivating and that's cool, and sometimes I'm just like, okay, that's it. So I average them every week, and then I also record that up in the front of my planner on the tracking sheet. This section down at the bottom is going to be ultimately divided into 4 different sections, and they're very loose, and I just am keeping them pretty open, but here I had already started to jot down a couple of things that I knew I needed to get done this week, so I just made that a to-do kind of this week list. And then I'm coming through with my favorite full boxes from the planner spot and just building out this sidebar. I do it a little bit differently each week, but I definitely have kind of some familiarity of like I like to include a week number, I like a full box sticker, and I always have my steps. This Madeline alphabet stamp from Carrie Bradford Studios is one of my favorites. I use it all the time, and I am pulling it out here to include week number 15 up in that sticker box. I'm going to use a black ink, and I normally use a lot of this Color Theory from Studio Calico, but mine is getting super dry and they haven't restocked it. So I recently purchased this Memento ink from Amazon. I'll link that one below. I feel like it's pretty similar. The biggest thing that I want to point out here is that I am stamping in this black ink onto the sticker paper. Please don't miss that detail and try to do that straight onto Tomoe River paper, because you will be sorry, probably. It will definitely bleed through. I prefer using these dye ink pads. You can use pigment ink pads and it wouldn't soak into the paper, but to me they take too long to dry. So I'm basically going to smear it myself. I'm going to make a mess one way or the other. So I definitely prefer this method of just stamping to a sticker paper and then adding it. You are going to see one exception coming up in this video, but for the most part, if I'm adding a stamp to my planner, it's going to be on some form of sticker paper. You'll see I'm coming through with my Zig Clean Color Dot marker, I think it is, and I'm just creating a placeholder. I will later add a sticker next to my workouts if I've completed them, but here I'm just kind of creating that space in order to add my sticker later. Not to be dramatic, but adding washi or not adding washi is like the biggest decision I make every week on these pages, I swear. And I love the look of that washi on the top. I especially love this really light print. It's not heavy at the top, so it's just nice and airy. And I debated, you kind of saw me flip back and go, oh, I used it last week. Normally I try to use it like every other week, so I'm not getting too thick of a ledge right up there at the top of my page. But obviously I couldn't help myself, and this new type of paper from the Planner Spots kits, she's using kind of something, it's different than her previous. It's more paper-like, and you can see that I'm able to cut it here with my ruler, which I love, versus like trying to get scissors out to cut the different material. So it's really thin. I talk myself into it, and of course I love the way it looks. One of the things I'm trying to use in my planner this year is repetition. So I'm trying to select certain symbols, like this is a symbol, I guess, this medium-sized circle, and to me that's hair appointment. So I have a hair appointment this week, and I'm using that same size circle there, and then again in my monthlies. And the reason why I do this is that I can easily quickly look back and go, oh, when did I last get my hair cut? Or how many weeks has it been since my haircut? I can track that very quickly here on my monthly pages. You also can see here that I've grabbed 2 sticky notes. They're not actually stickers, so I can pull them back up. And I just like to mark off the days that our cleaners are coming so that I can kind of just see the month at a glance. I will later come through and potentially add, like actually cut the sticker and cut it versus the sticky note that is transferable. But for now, I do like to keep these fluid because sometimes, you know, the dates, we switched it around, and I just like to keep that a little bit more flexible. But here, you can kind of get a better view of me cutting that sticky note in half and then just adding it to the Saturdays that we're expecting our cleaners. This bottom right corner has become my incoming section, so any mail, packages, things that I'm expecting to arrive throughout that week, I kind of can add things there week after week. I set this up a little bit differently. I like to include the little Cafecito stickers from Lightly Inked. They're always really cute. So this section here is up for grabs from week to week. I really don't always have a strong plan, but this week I decided to just note the book that I was reading / trying to listen to. And my hands waving wildly here are just trying to show you the 4 sections, and I'm just kind of sharing, like, oftentimes there's a little bit more deco down here. It's just a little bit more of a fluid space. I scribble those lines, kind of regret it immediately, but they do their job. They break it up. I always use these clear post-it tabs to mark my week down here, and it's just such an easy grab. Like if I want to go to my week, I reach for the bottom of my planner, flip open, and I just replace these every now and then. They last for a month or a month and a half, and then they just kind of start to pick up a little bit of dirt, so I replaced that one this week. So while I did jot a couple of things down there at the bottom of my sidebar as just like things to remember to do this week, the majority of my tasks are handled through an app I have called Things 3, something like that. And this little section is just a reminder for me to check that at the end of the day. So there's just things that I'll get done throughout the day that I will check off, but at the very end of the day, I usually just have a couple of things that I'm supposed to have completed in the evenings, and I like to just have a little reminder to head back to that and check them all off so I can start my new day fresh. I may migrate tasks there, and that's fine, but I just like to kind of have a clean slate at the end of each day and start the next day fresh. Similar to my workouts, I have this little place held that I can come back and add these check marks, and I'm showing you that for the workouts and for the evening check my list activity. I like to reward myself with a sticker. So before I finish planning this week, of course it's totally natural for me to go ahead and jump into the next 3 weeks, right? I had kind of waited to make all these marks for this month. I wanted to just try it out for quarter 1, see if that worked, if I really liked this format and this layout, and I do like it. It is working, so I'm going to go ahead and at least complete through the rest of April here, just all of this, this basic foundation so that it's done waiting for me. Now here's the exception to my stamping rule. I have this ink pad, it's called Sandcastle, and you can see I'm going for it, straight to the paper. The thing I really want to point out here is that I have taken excess ink off of this ink pad. I've stamped it directly onto paper, like, yes, my entire ink pad straight to paper, just to remove any excess ink so that it does not show through or bleed through. It's borderline dry, but it obviously gets the job done. And I tried to flip the page. That's why I was showing you the other side, just so you can see that it may have a tiny bit of shadowing, which is just to be expected with this paper, but nothing dramatic. If I'm being totally honest, there is always like a little war waging inside me, and it's about this deco. Like, I want to use the stickers that I have. I want to see the cute things sprinkled all across my pages, but then I also like things to be kind of crisp and clean and clear. So you're going to see I went ahead and stuck that little sticker there. I didn't love it. It's starting to me to look just a little bit cluttered, but I think at the end of the week it'll all kind of blend in and be fine. I'm just coming back through and like rechecking my iCal. That is the primary place where we keep all of our appointments and our family schedule. And I like that. I like that it's, flexible. I can switch things around if they need to be, and it's not written in stone yet. But then as the week arrives, I'm ready to kind of commit and get things, solidified here in my planner. I do love this little plastic cover. I just gave you a quick glimpse of it, but I picked it up on Etsy, and it's a nice little cover for the Hobonichi that includes those little pockets to store cute little stickers like icons and things that I grab often. Also, you'll just see here, I'm spending a little minute just making sure that my tracking is up to date as I'm moving into a new week. It's kind of a good time to refresh that. I thought I would give you just a quick glimpse here into my daily pages and kind of how I'm using them. I don't intend to do like plan with me's back here in my dailies because they're kind of my private spot, but I also wanted to show you here how I'm using the latest Studio Calco digital kit. I print them onto this clear sticker paper and then just allow these to kind of be my deco as like a theme for the month. I try to kind of stick with those sticker colors. Oh yeah, and I'm pointing out the little tab there is from Cloth and Paper. But I'm just using these stickers to basically create 4 different little sections here on this page. And sometimes I do this ahead of time, sometimes I don't. I'm also showing how I just use the little scraps that I have cut off from around stickers to stamp onto. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut one of those out, and it ends up there on the top left corner. Totally the wrong color for this week, and I'm just moving past that. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys, like, again, if you see a stamped image, that's kind of how it's arriving on my page, most likely, except for that dinner plate stamp. I have been wanting to track the weather in my planner and haven't really figured out a cute way to do it. I don't know. I'm really picky about it, and so I just thought I would do this week. It's one of those things that I am curious about when I look back. It's like, oh, what was the temperature last year? So I want to include it, but I just haven't entirely found like the space that I want to use for it. One of my best friends from Alaska is going to be here in Arizona this week, so I'm wanting to notate that. But also just this space around my washi is kind of like a good place for me to include all day events, but I also wanted this to stay sleek, so I'm just using a simple line to kind of indicate it. And oh, we're cut off super abruptly. Sorry about that. If you liked this video, would you please give me a thumbs up? Consider subscribing. I would love to have that feedback. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a chance to get in your planners, and I will catch you on the next video. Thanks guys for watching.